Hey, this is Chris Walker with EvangelismCoach.org, and in today's evangelism tip, I want to share with you a recent experience with regards to church hospitality. I really want to talk about how proud I am of my own church. You see, there's a person that I've been praying for about 6 months. I've been praying for them, I've been talking with them about my faith in Christ, and one of the tools that an evangelist has, of course, is inviting your friends to church, where they can begin to see the community of faith. They can begin to hear more about the stories of Jesus, more about the principles of the Bible and how the Bible can apply to their life. And so one of the greatest tools that you have is inviting somebody to church. So I've been praying for this person for a while, talking with him about my own relationship with Christ. And occasionally I have invited him to church, but in the circumstances of his life, the time has never come to pass until this past weekend. Our church started a brand new series. It was a series that he was interested in, and it was also timed in such a way that it really appealed to some of his spiritual curiosity, which has been rising as a result of our conversations the last few months. So I was very eager to hear that he had accepted the invitation to come to our church. Of course, that made me just a little bit nervous because, after all, I really wanted my own church to make sure that they welcomed my visitor into their midst. I wanted to be sure that my church would give my friend a good welcome experience, that the sermon would go off or that the sermon would really speak to his heart, that the worship team would be in tune. You know, all the different things that now that as my personal friend who is coming to church, I really was a little nervous about whether or not he would be well received. Now, part of my nervousness is a result of the fact that I know that my current church is kind of a young church. We're still a little rough around the edges. We don't quite have all of the systems in place that I am currently teaching at EvangelismCoach.org. That will come with growth and that will come with time. But at this particular moment, when this experience happened, I was just a little nervous. Now, Sunday came. My friend is truly unchurched. The only experience that he has had of church outside of some of his experiences from childhood is what he sees on television of some typical Pentecostal churches. Not to have anything slammed against Pentecostalism, because after all, I work with a lot of Pentecostal churches, but the ones that are on TV have 4-hour worship services with a lot of dancing, a lot of noise, a lot of shouting, and while that works really well, that was actually very intimidating to my friend. That was the only recent experience of a Christian worship service that he had, is only what he has seen on the television. So he was a little nervous about coming as well. He was afraid that that's what we would be like, in spite of my assurances that no, we're pretty quiet, we're pretty calm, we sing a couple of songs, we talk in normal voices, and our service is only about 90 minutes. In spite of my assurances, that was still some of the nervousness that he had as he came to our service. Finally, he came, he experienced our service, he experienced the time together. I was very proud of my church. Several of our members made conversation with him, and such to the fact that I actually did not have to, I could entrust him with various of our church members, and they were busy talking with him, engaging in conversations. In fact, he was one of the last to leave when the service was over. Now, yesterday was Monday, and I had a chance to walk with him for a little bit and to hear a little bit more about his reflections about our worship service. And some of his key points were, wow, that message really spoke to my heart. Number 2, he talked a lot about the friendliness of our congregation. And number 3, he said that he felt so safe that he was willing to come back and attend for the rest of the series. Friends, my church did a wonderful job. I'm very proud of my church and what they did. Now, here's something that you can take home that you can take and apply to your church. Number 1 is, do your members actually take the time to welcome the guests that come into their midst? This was an experience that I saw that happened with my friend. My church members took the time to greet and make small talk with the members, with my friend who was a visitor. The second thing that you can take home is that some of the visitors who come to your church are extremely nervous about coming into your church for the very first time. You can find some intentional ways to help minimize that nervousness in order that they may have a good experience of your church. The third and final thing is to remember that an invitation to church is indeed a tool that you can use as one who is actively sharing your faith. It's not the only tool, but an invitation to church can often be part of the circumstances that God uses in order to bring a person to faith. This has been Chris Walker with EvangelismCoach.org. I want to encourage you to visit the website, particularly the newsletter page, and sign up for our weekly newsletter, which is often full of brand new articles that are posted on EvangelismCoach.org And often, each week, you will find a practical tip that you can implement in the forthcoming week. Look forward to seeing more of you.